This is the continuation of volume 20 part 1, and now we're on volume 20 part 2. So right, as we jump in, we had left off on volume 20 part 1 where we talked about him lying to my friend about him moving me to a place that he got for both of us together, but he was just only moving me to my mom, right? And of course I know I had gone with this lie only to keep face, to maintain his reputation, again, not to make him look bad. So I'm always trying to cover up for this man all the time, and he has never yet covered up for me. As I said, he was somebody who talked about me behind my back to everyone that he encountered. He's never had my back, never. So I was always trying to maintain his image because, again, I do not know what I was hoping for in that man. I was hanging on to something that was never there. It taught me a grand lesson that when somebody show you who they are, even after you've given them a second chance, that's usually who they are. And the only thing that can change them is prayer and fasting. Yes, fasting and praying for that person. That is the only thing that will help, because prayer beat and defeat everything all the time. However, the person too has to want to change, because when God encounters them, they too want to and should want to change, because God will not force anyone to do anything that they don't want to do. He's not a God who is forcible. No, he's a just and a true God. Amen. So right, so these first few months of last year, which is 2024, when I'd moved to my mom, so around January, February, March, right, I had moved now to a new location. It wasn't even long that I moved to my mom from my friend at the ending of 2023. So that was December. I ended up have to move again from my mom. That was like around March time of last year, because something had occurred between my mom and my ex-partner, who at the time was my partner, because I gave him a second chance again. And he started to show his true colors. And even though I was still painting the red flags green, guys, I know it was. But again, thank you God for deliverance. My mom started to see his true devil side. My mom literally saw it firsthand. Of course, she knew we were talking about it over the phone, and he would counteract it when I told you guys that he would talk to my mom and he would say that me and my best friend was lying on him. So not in so many words, but the way how he would counteract and just diffuse and disregard. So he would disregard everything that was said or everything that he had done, make it seem as if me and my best friend was lying on him. Now my mom actually saw that, this man is literally a cruel person in terms of how he responded to her in that manner. And before, this man was a respectable man towards my mom. My mom had deep respect for this man as well as him and my families, and my mom would always speak highly about him to my families and all of that. So that just went out the door when that situation occurred between my mom and him. Always seeking to pick up for this man. What did I do? I jumped into the argument and I started arguing with my mom for this man. Yes, guys, I know it was wrong. And of course, I have apologized to my mom about it. But again, when you're blinded by lust, these are the things that usually occurs. You cannot see the facade that the person has up, because why? You are blinded by lust. Yeah. So I argued with my mom right in front of him. Well, my brothers were there at the time as well. My mom decided that she don't want him in her house anymore, and that he had to go. But not that he was living with us. He would just come and visit and he would sleep over, because obviously I had my own room and all of that. So she didn't want him there any at all, even if it was in my room. And then she said, no, I do not want him here. And I got really upset. And then, yeah, that's when he decided that, you know what, this is it. I would never talk back to your mom again. I would never come around here again. He decided that he would help me to find a place, because of course he still had to come to see me. So after a few days after that whole incident, I decided to start getting my things together, because he was now going to get a vehicle to come and move me to where I needed to move to, this new location. So I said to him, why don't we get a place together? this time without the actual lies. Like, let us actually get a place together. Guys, you do not know the 1,000,001 excuses that this man continuously come up with. It was beyond me. Like, I do not know where this man reloads all of these excuses, but trust me, they were excuses that could fit into the entire Jamaica and overspill. It was so bad. But because he was helping me to move and find the place, I said, you know what? Let me not be perplexing. Let me just be grateful. You know? So I was settling for less yet again. Because why? My self-morals was just so diminished that I didn't realize that I deserve more. Like, why am I settling for these mediocrity? This was mediocre. Why was I settling for it? So this new place that he introduced me to, or he found me, it was living with some of his people. So from his country that was living in the UK, in London at that time. He moved me there. So they had a room that was renting, and then I just moved into the room. So obviously I had to share space with them. So I had to share the toilet, I had to share the kitchen, all of that with them. So it was like a big family, but it's not my family. It's like some far-fetched families. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's essentially where I was at that moment. I thought that this was it. I thought that this was my life. I started to accept and settle deeper. And this was like what? April times of last year. Yeah. I was like, no, this is just my life. This is just it. My self-esteem had diminished down to the floor. Guys, I felt into depression. I was so sad. I was crying constantly. And you can imagine the arguments became rampant. We would argue non-stop. The arguments was just reeling out. And the only time that me and this man had some good times was when we were doing adult activities. As I said, flesh, when he needed flesh and when I needed flesh. And I felt as though I used that as well as a comforter, thinking that, okay, when I keep doing it, the more I keep doing it, the more he will change. No, because he was already getting what he wanted. So what changes would he need to be making? I thought that me doing all of these things was gonna make him change, not realizing that I'm only feeding into what he already see me as anyways. And that was just the truth at the time, you know? I'm not saying that people don't change, but of course he was never going to be my change. But I, honestly, genuinely wish him all the best in his life and in his career and in wherever he is. As I said, I haven't spoken to him from since I broke up with him officially, but I genuinely wish him all the best and God's blessings upon him, like for real, because I've forgiven him. But again, we have to share our testimony and just highlight the things that we've been through and the severity of it, right? This man had a hold on me sexually, and God had to break that bonding radically, for real. I was using that scenario thinking that yes, this would bring us together or he would change, not realizing I was feeding him what he already is getting. He doesn't need to change. He's already getting what he needs. Yeah. So of course he will continuously operate and treat me the way he was treating me because he's already getting what he needs anyways. Even after he could treat me and batter bruise me and talk to me certain and anyways, and then I'll be jumping right into bed with him again. Also, the multiple women that he had, it never stopped. It increased. Yes, guys, lots of women. Again, I started searching his phone and I started seeing these things yet again. It was just rampant. This man had women here, there, everywhere, young girls, older women, and of course they were taking care of him. He was using them again to facilitate his political affiliations back home in his country. Yeah, the man was just a finesse. Yeah. Guys, not that anything is wrong with this, because I love when people's life is going on the up and up. Honestly, genuinely happy for them. But just imagine that you're with someone, you're just watching their life going up and up and up and up. He bought a new car, he started buying up these new things, and it was just like my life was just deteriorating. My Lord, like it was like this man was just sucking my energy and facilitating his own life. Because I'm a very ambitious woman, right? As you guys can see thus far, thanks be to God, not by my own strength will always, but by God who has always been in my corners. But nonetheless, he was literally going on the up and up, and my life was just deteriorating. He started to apply for his PhD. For at this point, this man was literally in competition with me as well. I did not realize it. I thought that, oh, how I knew is because of the things he would say. Oh, you know, see, now I got 2 masters now. So when I just met you, you had got your masters and I didn't have any masters. Now I'm with you and I got 2 masters. And then now he's going to go for his PhD, which he's actually doing his PhD right now. And I said to him, I'm very happy for you, even to the point where I used to help him with some of his assignments. This is how deep that was. I was super happy for him, but he genuinely was in a competition with me, and I could not open my eyes to see it at that time. I knew it, and I used to say it to him. I said, listen, I'm not here to be in competition with you. You know, I'm literally genuinely happy for you, to the point where I will help you with whatever help that you need. No, for him, it was a competition, and it was just super bad. So when it rains, it pours. So not only was I living with complete strangers that had nothing to do with me, and I was with a man that never loved me one bit, only lust after me, I was living in a room that was infested with plagues. When I tell you roaches, some big spiders. The spiders, them big. When you're sleeping, imagine roaches on top of you, crawling all over you and all of that. Even when this man would come and help me to clean up the roaches and clean up the spiders, within few more days, you would see them start manifesting. That house, it was an old building, and though they were living in it and they were very much happy and contented in it, he kept giving me empty promises, kept saying, we're going to move, don't worry, just hold on, just give me some more time. So it was just excuses after excuses, and I just could not see. And I was living in this place from April up until July, up until August. So just imagine I'm living in that situation. Each time I have to be cleaning, we have to get spray to spray the roaches to kill them. They would die for a few days, and then you see them coming up back because that place was just infested with plagues. As I said, the disrespect started becoming rampant. This man had no respect for me as well. Because I was so unhappy, I started disrespecting him. I started talking to him anyhow. And the same was true for him. You know, he would not have any respect, and it was just evident that he had no respect for me. When he would come to visit me at the place, because remember, these are his people. These people know that he's a politician. So of course he had to put on this facade again to make it look like, you know, he's a man of integrity, he's a man of this, he's a man of class, all the time. That's just him. That's just his thing. I had to put on this facade again to make it seem as if nothing is happening, like we're good. Guys, I was on the verge of giving up on myself. I was there last year. I was there last year. I was about to give up on myself. I was about to throw in the towels, guys. And as I said, my staff had no idea that I was going through all of these situations. I would show up at work, I'll be smiling, laughing, like everything is good. And then when I go home, I'm in excessive stress, crying myself to sleep, started smoking excessively. Mind you, this man would start buying me weed, because he realized that whenever I'm under the influence of weed, he would have me better. So I wouldn't be arguing or anything like that. So I would be more like, you know, promiscuous. So that's when the promiscuity came out as well. So he loved that. So what he would do, he would just buy the weed before he call me, did you smoke? So make sure you smoke, I'm on my way. Because he know that, okay, it's going to be a lit moment. It was so sad, guys, honestly. But thank you, Jesus, for your deliverance yet again. So stay tuned, guys, for volume 20, part 3, when I will tell you more secrets that revealed itself last year in 2024 around July. Yes, thank you guys for watching. It gets a little better.